So we start. So current affairs we were discussing yesterday. So like PSLV has been in news like anything, huh? Almost a year it has been doing something or the other. So like we can see some last 3-4 launches. I will be starting with 35, C35, then C36, C37. Okay, and obviously in the end, later on, we'll be discussing C34. Okay, so like C stands for what? Commercial. Okay, that's the meaning of C over here. And as you know, just a brief part of it, that PSLV is a 4-stage vehicle. It is having 4 stages: solid, liquid, plus 6 boosters. Boosters, not cryogenic. Cryogenic is not PSLV. Can I switch off? No issue. That is the case. PSLV, you know, originally was developed for placing only remote sensing satellites. And remote sensing satellites are placed in polar orbit. Polar orbit, that means from North Pole to South Pole and South Pole to North Pole. These satellites are also known as Earth observation satellite. Okay, that's I'm not interested in discussing that. C35. C35 was carrying 8 satellites. Okay. And one of them was a remote sensing, or rather all were remote sensing satellite, and one of them was SCAT-SAT-1. SCAT-SAT is a remote sensing satellite of ISRO. Just listen, need to understand. Okay, later on, I'll do my favorite job, dictation. SCAT-SAT-1 is a remote sensing satellite. Okay, what exactly is SCAT-SAT-1? Is it something new? Is it something continuation of the previous program of ISRO? That's what we need to know. It is not something new. It is a continuation of the previous program of ISRO. That is what we call as OceanSat. Besides this, there were other satellites as well, like Pratham. Okay, and obviously it is one Pratham of IIT Bombay. And obviously, what is the USP of Pratham? Obviously, it is the first nano satellite of India. Okay, and then there was a PISAT, obviously of an engineering institute in Bangalore. That is PIE. That is what the PISAT was all about. Besides that, there were satellites of Algeria, 3 satellites of Algeria. So 3 + 2 + 3. Obviously, you can say 7. And obviously, one was from US. That is Black Sky Pathfinder. But that's what not I am interested in discussing. What is the USP of PSLV C35? What was new that happened when PSLV C35 completed its mission? If there will be a question, it is because of only this. This is the first instance when PSLV placed satellites in 2 different orbits in a single flight. 2 different orbits. Both were polar orbits. Dude, imagine one was polar, other was Jewish. Both were polar, and obviously, why you will say, sir, what's the big deal in placing 2 satellites in 2 orbits in a single flight? Obviously, for that you need to switch on and off the engine multiple times. Okay, and that's where the challenge lies in this particular case. Now listen here, what exactly happened over there? First, PSLV took off. Okay, you know there is first stage. Then you know that PSLV is an expendable launch vehicle. Expendable means can be used only once. Okay, so first stage, when the fuel was exhausted, separated, gone. Second stage, fuel exhausted, separated, gone. Third stage, fuel exhausted, separated, gone. Then left what? 4th stage. And 4th stage was having all the satellites on it, because satellites should not be separated and gone. Like this. Then it reached obviously where? South Pole. Okay. Over South Pole at a height of around 720 kilometers, first this satellite separated. Okay. 7 other were still with were attached to this fourth stage of the PSLV. Then obviously, if you can imagine, then it made around like this entire vehicle, means covered over, obviously moved over the South Pole and moved up to North Pole. Over North Pole, obviously when it was moving downwards over South Pole, this fourth stage was switched off. Okay, that I've discussed with you when I was discussing types of fuels, that liquid fuels facilitates multiple switching on and off. And that's not a coincidence that the last stage is a liquid stage. Had it been solid one, this would not have happened. Okay, fine. Then obviously from North Pole, it was again, obviously this time they reduced the height of the orbit, and somewhere around 670, all the 7 satellites were pushed in one go. So these were 2 satellites orbits. One was at a higher orbit, second was at a lower orbit. Okay, and obviously this was C35. Is this okay? This is how it happened. Then came C36. C36, it has placed a satellite known as Resource Set 2A. Resource Set 2A, obviously natural resource management. That's the only job of it. Nothing special about it. Then came obviously probably a very, very big day in the Indian space history, the launch of PSLV C37. And in this case, they placed how many satellites? 104 satellites. One of them was Cartosat 2D. Okay, and it's the 5th satellite in this particular series. Cartosat 2D will have a lot of applications like networking, mapping, land information system, geographical information system. And at the same time, this Cartosat 2D will allow India to peek, to see into the, obviously, China as well as Pakistan. So obviously it's going to be an intelligence gathering satellite as well. But okay, fine. Besides that, there were 88 Dove satellites of an American company. Okay, but these Dove satellites, they are also known as Flock 3P. Okay, and actually these 88 satellites of Dove, which are Dove satellites, are remote sensing satellites, and obviously their total number is 100. So obviously 88 satellites were launched by PSLV C37. How much is left? Obviously people are really good in CSAT. 12 were left. No, 12 were not left. 12 were already launched by PSLV C34. And if you can recall, PSLV C34 has placed 20 satellites. So 12 of them were this. So this is how their system got completed. Okay. Then comes the other satellites. Obviously, besides this, like say for example, they're asking such questions nowadays. PSLV C37 placed 104 satellites. Besides ISRO, the other satellites were off. So obviously there was a satellite of Israel, BGU-SAT. There was a satellite of Kazakhstan. There was a satellite of UAE. Most of the people will not take this as the option. Okay, UAE. And there were other satellites as well from Netherlands, Holland, and obviously there was one more satellite from one American company, that is Spire Bird. These all were launched by using PSLV C37. So obviously this was 35, 36, 37. This happened. Okay, just one more I will discuss with you. That is obviously GSLV FO5. Okay, what is FO? Operational flight. Why I am discussing GSLV FO5? Because for the first time you will see that alphabet D has been replaced by FO in case of GSLV. D means developmental, OF means or FO means operational flight, and obviously the aspiration of ISRO is that even FO should be replaced by the alphabet C. C means commercial. That has not happened. Which particular satellite was placed by GSLV FO5? अरे भाई 365 नहीं पढ़ा अभी तक. Okay, listen here. Listen, insect 3D R. Insect 3D R. 3D means three-dimensional. What is the difference between other insects and insect 3D R? It is a dedicated meteorological satellite of ISRO. It's not a telecommunication satellite. Is it the first meteorological satellite launched by ISRO? Come on. Yes or no? Answer is an emphatic no. What were the other insect, obviously, satellites which were used for meteorological purposes? Answer is Kalpana 1. Have you heard about it? That was meteorological satellite. Then other was Insect 3D. So Insect 3D R is a continuation of Insect 3D. And 3D means three-dimensional. What are the jobs Insect 3D R is going to be performing? Listen here, it will be giving information for long-term weather, that is meteorological sciences. It will be used for atmospheric sounding. Now sounding here, most of us get confused. Or sounding means there will be thunder blast and all that. Sounding means vertical study of the atmosphere with respect to the pollution, with respect to moisture, with respect to precipitation. In short, I can say weather related information, cyclone possibility, this possibility or that possibility. That's going to be the use. Just one more point, in case they get really specific. This is where I afraid we might be caught napping. In this case, if he gives, in case of Insect 3D R, that it will also be used for the purpose of search and rescue. Search and rescue. So search and rescue, atmospheric sounding, they sound highly dissimilar. There is no correlation between the two. That's it. And obviously, just remember, in this case, it is GSLV. Okay, that's it. Please take down all this. I'm expecting 100% one question somewhere, because these are the biggest development in the space history of India. Okay, one more obviously is the scramjet, sounding rockets. One more possibility of a question is this. Now, obviously take down. Yesterday no backlog, na? Okay. Now, right, PSLV related developments, all we'll be discussing. So writing science, PSLV related developments. And you know why PSLV is all very important? Because for the first time since the inception of PSLV program, in 1 year, ISRO has carried out 6, obviously no marks for guessing, all of them were successful launches of PSLV. It has never happened before in 1 year. So that's where obviously questions will be coming from here on. Obviously, what exactly he will be framing, I wish I can have access to those questions so I can share with you. So that unfortunately I don't have with me, but I think it will not be beyond this. Please take down PSLV related development. Just a brief introduction. PSLV is a 4-stage vehicle. PSLV is a 4-stage vehicle, that is solid, liquid, solid, liquid. Along with that, there are 6 boosters. There are 6 boosters. Solid or liquid? Solid. 6 boosters, solid, based on solid fuel. The last few launches of PSLV have been remarkable. The last few launches of PSLV have been remarkable. And all of them were of the variant, PSLV XL. PSLV XL. Take down PSLV C34, PSLV C-34 placed 20 satellites in a sun synchronous orbit, placed 20 satellites in a sun synchronous orbit. 12 of them were the satellites of 12 of them were the satellites of Dove series, Dove, D-O-V-E, Dove series. Full stop. Continue. PSLV C-36 placed resource set 2A. Resource set 2A. What type of satellite? Remote sensing, telecommunication. Remote sensing. Placed resource set 2A in a sun synchronous orbit. Sun synchronous orbit. It will be used for natural resource management. Natural resource management. Natural resource management. Then PSLV C-37. PSLV C-37. It is by far the most remarkable and successful. It is by far the most remarkable and successful. Okay, and what is the most interesting part? That selfie taken by Cartosat 2D. When all the other satellites were released. So those images you were seeing were actually coming from Cartosat 2D when those satellites, they were not graphical representation. So for the first time selfie was taken by Cartosat 2D in case of satellites. Okay, what most remarkable and successful? It placed 104 satellites. The heaviest among them was Cartosat 2D. The heaviest among them was Cartosat 2D. Heaviest among them was Cartosat 2D. D for Delhi. It is the fifth satellite in this series. It is the fifth satellite in this series. The other were Cartosat 2, 2A, 2B, 2C. Obviously, you know the other, the last one be 2D. 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D. It will have sub-meter resolution. That's very important. Sub-meter resolution. Remember this point. It is having sub-meter resolution. And it will be operational for how many years? 5 years. It will be operational for 5 years. Its applications will be in urban and rural planning. comma, coastal land use, comma, water distribution, land information system, geographic information system, land information system, geographic information system. There were 2 Indian nanosatellites. There were 2 Indian nanosatellites. INS-1A, and 1B. INS-1A and 1B. Both of them were weighing less than 10 kilogram. 1A and 1B. 88 satellites were of Dove series. These 88 were a part of Earth Constellation Program, with total 100 satellites. The 12 satellites were launched. By PSLV C-34. Just the other satellites, you have to remember this. The other satellites, Lemur-2, Lemur-2, Lemur-2. There is a company of US, Spire Global, this is of US. Then Peace, P-E-A-S-S, Netherlands. Dido, D-I-D-O, Switzerland, Swiss satellite, Dido. Then Al-Farabi. Al-Farabi is a I was knowing this. Kazakhstan. Question is gone. Logic, not knowledge. Here, knowledge is important rather than logic. Okay. This is stereotyping. Okay. Al-Farabi, Kazakhstan. Knife. N-A-Y-I-F. Knife. Not that knife. UAE. This is UAE. Knife. Then one more, BGU set, Israel. Now you can count later on. That's the number. Okay, fine. Just one more, which I forgot to dictate earlier. PSLV C-35. Just a bit of a repetition. PSLV C-35 mission is unique in a manner. PSLV C-35 mission is unique in a manner that for the first time, it has placed, it means PSLV. For the first time, it has placed satellites in 2 orbits. In a single flight. It is a challenging task. It is a challenging task. It is a challenging task because to change the orbits, the engine has to be okay. To change the orbit, engine has to be has to be has to be switched on and off multiple times. The first satellite which was placed in the sun synchronous orbit, See, one more thing, just a small minor point. I know you people knows it. Whenever you will read degrees in a sun synchronous orbit, in that case we are having that angle with respect to equator. Okay, because sun synchronous is a polar orbit. Okay, that way, and there obviously they will not be fixed at over one particular longitude. They will be moving from different longitudes. So here the angle is with respect to equator. But when you read degrees in a telecommunication orbit is obviously satellite is always above equator, fixed. In that case, when they are specifying degree, there you will find east, means there they are talking about the longitude. Here it is equators, obviously with respect to equator, the angle will be has to be 0. Okay, they have to be coplanar. So these are the small things. I hope somewhere you may use it in a logical manner to work out. I hope you got this. Okay, fine. Continue. In a sun synchronous orbit at a height of 724 kilometer, at a height of 724 kilometer, the satellite was SCAT-SAT, SCAT-SAT. It is a continuation of OceanSat series. Remember this, OceanSat series. It will be used for weather related information. After releasing the SCAT-SAT, the vehicle coasted over the South Polar region, and started ascending towards North Pole, towards North Pole, followed by reignition of fourth stage, and while moving towards south, remaining satellites were placed in a 670 kilometer in a 670 kilometer sun synchronous orbit. So both are sun synchronous, 670 kilometer. These satellites were Pratham and PISAT of India, Pratham and PISAT of India. Pratham is of IIT Bombay. Pratham is of IIT Bombay, whereas PISAT is of PES University Bangalore. PES University Bangalore. Pratham, worst case question. Pratham will measure electron count in the ionosphere, comma, it will help in detecting tsunamis. This is why I'm dictating it. It will help in detecting tsunamis, and it will improve accuracy of what? NAVIC, IRNSS. It will improve the accuracy of NAVIC or IRNSS. There was a microsatellite of US. With the name Black Sky Pathfinder. And there were 3 satellites of Algeria. That is ALSAT 1B, 2B, and 1N. 2B and 1N. This is more than enough. Now write INSAT 3DR. Obviously, you need to maintain certain distance. Okay, the nature is different. They were obviously, barring that one, what we say SCATSAT, all of them were virtually nano satellites. Okay, broadly speaking, that's fine. Now, right, INSAT 3DR. It is ISRO's 3rd meteorological satellite. Remember, please. It is not first. It is ISRO's 3rd meteorological satellite. The previous two were Kalpana 1 and INSAT 3D. It will be used for meteorological purposes. Atmospheric sounding, and search rescue. It will carry out 3D observation. of atmosphere, the launch vehicle used was GSLV F-05. The launch vehicle used was GSLV F-05. Okay. Now, one thing which is in news is AUSC, Advanced Ultra Supercritical Thermal Plant. Okay. Is it a part of National Action Plan for Climate Change? Yes, sir. एक मिनट. जय वो म्यूट कर दो, अंदर आवाज बहुत आ रही है. म्यूट. नो इशू. Okay. Advanced Ultra Supercritical Plant. Advanced Ultra Supercritical Plant. Let me tell you one thing. Why I think this is important. Because you know, we adopted into, listen. In 2008, India adopted National Action Plan for Climate Change. That you have read quite a lot. Initially, it was having 8 missions. Then obviously, with the change in the government, 9th mission was added, and that 9th mission is specifically for developing ultra supercritical temperature plants. So obviously it's not a small thing, means you are modifying a national action plan to include this. Obviously this is something where you will see it's a part of the commitment we have made for Paris Agreement. Okay. So that's where obviously it becomes very, very important area of the question. So it is 9th mission under National Action Plan for Climate Change. Obviously, who is the advisor for that mission? Scientific advisor, Mr. Chidambaram, not P. Chidambaram. Okay, no, like this. So that's where. What is ultra supercritical? Listen here. We have something known as phase diagram of water. First, let's have a broad concept. In the phase diagram of water, there is something known as critical point. Critical point means where water is neither liquid nor gaseous. None of the two. Rather, it is in a special state, and that special state is known as supercritical fluid. So when a thermal power plant is operating above critical point, that is what we call as supercritical temperature or ultra supercritical temperature. In case of supercritical temperature, the thing is the pressure and temperature is somewhere around 373 degrees Celsius and pressure is somewhere 220 bar. Now in case of advanced ultra supercritical temperature plant, the parameters will be 310 bar, 310, or you can say here 710 degree Celsius. Okay. And what is the common point? Listen here. The moment a thermal power plant is operating above critical plant, the efficiency is bound to be above 45%. Anything above 45% you should take. Okay, because the global average, mechanical engineer sitting on that side, the global average of the thermal power plants which are subcritical. Subcritical power plant means where the pressure and temperature are on the lower side and their water exists simultaneously in two phases, liquid as well as the gaseous form. In such cases, the efficiency will be on the lower side. But in supercritical power plant, there is neither gaseous nor liquid. Their entire composition of water will be homogeneous. So obviously it contributes a lot in overall improvement in the efficiency of the plant. Just one more point. Let me tell this thing to you, that in this case, the advanced ultra supercritical temperature plant, who all are involved over here? Obviously Indira Gandhi Center for Atomic Research. Either we will take BARC or we will not take this one. Then obviously there is BHEL, Bharat Heavy Electrical Limited, and no marks for guessing the third one. What? NTPC. And what is the capacity of this plant will be? As per the plan, AUSC will have a capacity of 800 megawatt. Please remember. What about supercritical temperature plants? Do we have? Yes, we have. As far as this thing AUSC, if you see supercritical temperature power plants, we are already having UMPPs, ultra mega power plants. Okay, ultra mega power plants, their capacity is 4,000 megawatt approximately. And we are already having 4 UMPPs operating in the country: Sasan, Krishnapatnam, Tilaiya, and Mundra. Okay, fine. One. Later on, recently, just listen. Recently, it was a policy was made by the government that in future, irrespective of the capacity, all the thermal power plants have to be of supercritical temperature type. Okay, just one more point. Before you ask, do we have any example of advanced ultra supercritical plant anywhere in the world? Answer is no. So obviously there is no ultra supercritical temperature plants operating right now. I hope this is okay. This is more than enough. The most thing they will be asking the agencies involved, the parameters, temperature, pressure, and they will be asking with respect to National Action Plan on Climate Change. Okay, this is it. These are 3-4 statements they might be giving you, and this you can take. Now listen just one more, then we will have a bit of a writing session. There was recently, I need to see what exactly, yes. Recently there was a deal known as Aviation Climate Deal. Okay, you might have read. And last year 3-4 questions they asked on climate change. And one people were not able to get that greenhouse gas protocol. Most of the people got it wrong, greenhouse gas protocol. So if this year they won't be asking greenhouse gas protocol, they may ask Aviation Climate Deal, and it is obviously done in October 2016. And it is a follow-up of Paris Agreement. Okay, it is for what is the backdrop? If you don't mind, can I give you a bit of a backdrop so that you can get the entire picture? See, it's not happened suddenly. It was going on. Those people who have attended classes last year and last year, I have spent around 45 minutes with you on this topic. There was a program. There is something known as European Union Emission Trading Scheme. European Union, you know, barring Great Britain and obviously now what's happening in France, there's a big question mark. But still, European Union concept is there. When they were having good days, means all of them were together. They walked out Kyoto Protocol. They were not a part of Kyoto Protocol. But after withdrawing from Kyoto Protocol, they came up with their own emission trading scheme. And that emission trading scheme started in 2005. Okay, it was obviously the target of that scheme was 21% emission reduction with 2005 as the base year till 2020. That was the scheme. But then later on in that scheme, they included the aviation sector. And in brief, I am telling you this. Means any flight, anywhere from anywhere in the world, any flight landing or taking off from any of those countries who are member of this scheme, the operator has to buy is the important word, carbon credits that in proportion to the emission made. Means a flight has took off from Delhi, landing in London. So obviously whether it is Air India or British Airways or Jet Airways or any other, it doesn't matter. The operator has to buy carbon allowances in proportion to the emission made. That was the scheme. No marks for guessing. India and China were the first to oppose this. Later on, US also opposed it. And there was a deadlock. While obviously it is a question of aviation. So obviously which agency has to come forward? International Civil Aviation Organization. So Aviation Climate Deal or Aviation Emission Deal is not being mediated by UNFCCC. It has been mediated and enforced and worked out upon by whom? ICAO. Remember this point. International Civil Aviation Organization. Okay, very trivial point over here. It is based in Montreal. Okay, that is Montreal based ICAO. So obviously they were looking to break this deadlock. And obviously while breaking this deadlock, they said, okay, fine, for time being, European Union should withdraw this scheme as far as the non-members are concerned. Means they can implement this on the aviation sector of the member countries, but not from the non-member countries. And they said, we are promising you, we will work out a global scheme for curbing the emission of greenhouse gases from the aviation sector. This is the backdrop of aviation climate deal. Is this clear? That is it. And that resulted in the adoption of this aviation climate deal in 2016. Okay. Earlier, they were supposed to work out this deal in 2015. But 2015 December, Paris was adopted. And obviously, when you are not, Paris is always going to be a bigger agreement than aviation, because aviation accounts for just 1.3% of the global greenhouse gas emissions. Obviously, remaining is with Paris. So it is looking to address just that 1.3%. Remaining 98.7% has to be addressed by what? Paris Agreement. So when Paris was adopted, December 2015, October 2016, they have adopted this aviation climate deal. Okay, how many countries? Around 60 plus countries have done it. What is the plan of action? Listen here. 2020 will be the cutoff year. Means no operator, it is only for international, because domestic aviation sector is covered by Paris. It will be applicable only on international aviation. Means no operator will be allowed to exceed their emissions beyond 2020 level. If they do so, then what are the punishments or the penalties for them? If they are going to increase their emissions beyond 2020 level, then 80% of that they have to offset. What is the meaning here? Offsetting is important. Offsetting can be done in two ways. Invest in greenhouse gas emission projects somewhere, or buy the carbon credits that we know very well, and next carry out the afforestation. So this is it. So 80%. And how means, what is the duration for this scheme? The duration for this scheme is 2020 till 2035. It is being divided into two phases. First is from 2020 till 2028, and second, obviously, no marks for guessing, 1st January 2029 till 31st December 2035. Okay. First phase will be voluntary and second phase will be mandatory. Okay. So this is the status. As of now, India has not said yes to this particular climate deal. Obviously, we have our own reservations because our aviation sector is not in very good health. Okay, don't go by obviously these economy flyers like Indigo and SpiceJet. Obviously, if you see Air India, is probably in the worst situation among all. It is surviving just because of, obviously, the government is supporting it and all that. Now, please take down. Advanced ultra supercritical. Advanced ultra supercritical. It is the most advanced. It is the most advanced clean coal technology, most advanced clean coal technology for improving the efficiency of thermal power plants, both supercritical and ultra supercritical, both supercritical and ultra supercritical operates above the critical point of water. Above critical point, water exists in a special form, known as supercritical fluid. Full stop. The average efficiency of thermal power plants, the average efficiency of thermal power plants is 39% if they are operating above critical point. The efficiency will cross the 45% mark, This is minimum. Maximum it can go up to 60%. Okay, continue further. The advanced ultra supercritical technology, will be developed by BHEL, IGCAR, Indira Gandhi Center for Atomic Research, and NTPC jointly. Its capacity will be 800 megawatt. This will be the first time that large power plant equipments will be manufactured with advanced technology, but without any technological collaboration or licensing agreement with any foreign company. The pressure and temperature for AUSC, will be 310 bar, and 710 and 710 degree Celsius. Continue. It has been included under, this is I think important point, now you will not forget, it is included under National Action Plan for Climate Change. It has been included under National Action Plan for Climate Change as the ninth mission, with the title National Mission for the Development of Ultra Supercritical Temperature Technology. Ultra Supercritical Temperature Technology for thermal power plants, full stop. All right. Aviation Climate Deal, October 2016. By whom? ICAO, International Civil Aviation Organization. Where it is? Montreal. Is it a specialized agency of United Nations? Yes. It's not interview that you can say don't know. So it is. Yes. Okay. So, right. Background. Just brief 2-3 lines. After withdrawing from Kyoto Protocol, European Union adopted a comprehensive emission trading scheme with the target of reducing 21% emissions by 2020, 21% emissions by 2020, with 2005 as the base year, as the base year. Later on, they included aviation sector in the scheme. The scheme mandated that all those flights landing or taking off taking off in any of the member countries, in any of the member country, the operator has to buy carbon allowances in proportion to the emission made, This scheme was opposed by India, China, US. To break the deadlock, ICAO asked European Union to withdraw the scheme from the aviation sector, of the non-members, and it proposed a global scheme of this nature. Full stop. Next paragraph. As per the deal, which has been adopted by 191 nations. The countries will use global aviation emissions of 2020 as a benchmark they have to offset is an important word, offset, OFFSET, offset 80% of the emissions above 2020 levels. This is important. Above 20 means if it is about 2020 only, no problem. Means if you're exceeding, then 80% of that. Okay, what? 2020 levels until 2035. They can do so by having carbon credits, being purchased, being purchased, comma, afforestation projects, full stop. Next point. The scheme will be implemented in two phases. The scheme will be implemented in two phases. First phase will be voluntary. Please remember this. First phase will be voluntary. That will be up to 2027. That will be up to 2027. And second phase will be mandatory. Second phase will be mandatory up to 2035. Second phase will be mandatory up to 2035. Yes, 1st January. Here, as I told you, it will be like 1st January 2020, 31st December 2035. Here, it is always like this. Okay, I hope it's fine. Now, write HELP and CBM. What is HELP? Obviously, HELP always lead to CBM. No. Hydrocarbon Exploration Licensing Policy. Hydrocarbon Exploration Licensing Policy. Okay, fine, listen here. Just 2 points I will be emphasizing because this policy has come into force. Okay, what exactly here where this policy is different from the previous policy? Come on. That is, what is National Exploration Licensing Policy or New Exploration Licensing Policy, NELP, and it is HELP. Both are for hydrocarbons. But distinguishing features, please listen, of HELP as compared to NELP are two. First is Unified Licensing System and second is Open Acreage Licensing Policy. In most probably, he will be asking question on Open Acreage Licensing Policy. Unified Licensing System, here I will be just drawing an analogy with the Unified Licensing Regime in the telecom sector. What is Unified Licensing Regime in the telecom sector? Like under one license, the telecom operator can provide all types of services. They don't have to go for multiple licenses. Like what was happening? In NELP, government was having different licenses for conventional and unconventional oil and gas. Conventional gas associated with petrol well, unconventional shale gas, unconventional coal bed methane, unconventional gas hydrate. The problem was Krishna Godavari, classical example, having both conventional and unconventional. And you know Krishna Godavari is with, Reliance. And nobody can offend Reliance in the country. That is a fact. So obviously, there was obviously genuine problems as well. Say for example, I have got the thing for conventional gas, but I don't have the technology to extract shale gas from there. Then obviously there is going to be a lot of technicalities if some other operator comes up over there, or else I will not allow someone else and the resources will not be utilized. So Unified Licensing System means government will give one license for one block, and under that all type of hydrocarbons, oil, gas, conventional, non-conventional, that includes shale gas, coal bed methane, gas hydrate, will be explored and produced by one operator. Is this clear? You don't have to go for multiple points. Is this clear? Okay. Second is Open Acreage Licensing Policy. Open Acreage Licensing Policy, why it has been adopted actually? Here in this case, the government has set the target that by 2022, their target is to reduce the import dependence by 10% of the total oil we are importing. 10% less we have to do. And to do so, obviously, you have to increase the domestic production. It's as simple. There's simple logic, not science. And obviously, what is the target? To double the domestic production and reduce the import dependence by 10%. With this objective, only with this objective, open acreage licensing policy has been adopted. What is open acreage licensing policy? It is like this. Say, for example, you are an oil and gas exploration company. Okay, fine. You got the license from particular block from the Directorate General of Hydrocarbons in the country. Fine. And then same Directorate General has put up the details about the possibility of hydrocarbons about 26 different sedimentary basins of the country. But they are not yet given to anyone else. Is this okay? Then if you are convinced with your studies and the data put up by the Directorate General of Hydrocarbon on the websites, okay, fine, this is another probable block where I may have windfall in terms of oil and gas. So what you can do, you can approach the government that sir or ma'am, whosoever is the ministry, right now you have to use the word sir because Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan is there, that please put up this thing on competitive bidding. It's not directly it will be given to you. It will be given auction through competitive bidding. Obviously, when you have done your homework much more than anyone else, you have higher chances of getting the license for that particular block. That is known as open acreage licensing policy. It is not open-ended. It is only for those basins for which the Directorate General of Hydrocarbon has given the detailed information on the website. What is the mandate? 10% import reduction, and obviously by doubling the domestic production of oil and gas. These are the two important points. Just one more point here, the government is going for revenue sharing. Okay, revenue sharing is always a better option than profit sharing, because profit in economy, I know you have been taught this thing, just one line. In profit sharing, this what they do, they can keep on showing the losses. In revenue sharing, nothing doing. The moment you start the production, you have to give a certain percentage to the governments. So this is help for you. Just one more point, coal bed methane, that protest by Tamil Nadu farmers. Okay, obviously, what is the basis? Coal bed methane is the basis. Coal bed methane is an unconventional gas. Third time I am saying this. Along with shale gas, along with gas hydrate. What is the meaning of coal bed methane? Methane which is trapped between the coal rocks. So these are coal rocks above and below. And because of the pressure of water and all, this gas is adsorbed, A-D-S-O-R-B-E-D, adsorbed on the surface of the coal rocks. So obviously we want to take out this methane. How this is taken out? The method used for taking out this coal bed methane is known as dewatering. Dewatering means they made a drill, and from that drill they takes out the water. When you are taking out the water, aren't you reducing the pressure? When you are reducing the pressure, as you know very well, that adsorption is a physical process on the surface. And when the pressure will be reduced, this gas will come out. And when this gas will come out, obviously there will be two pipes. Through one pipe, you will be taking out water, and through other pipe, the gas comes out. That is what we call as coal bed methane. There is a difference. In case of shale gas, water is pumped, where in this case, water is taken out. Okay, fine. But what's the problem in coal bed methane? Why these people are protesting? Here, very simple logic, very simple logic. Don't search for the things in the books, search here, you have the answers. Obviously, simple, apply your science principles which you have studied and which you have imbibed over a period of time. Here, after one point, the production will decline, because once the pressure will go below a certain level, the desorption rate will be very, very less. When the desorption rate will be very, very less, the production of the gas will decline very fast. And when the production of the gas declines very fast, obviously to keep up the production, because you have invested already a lot, what you have to do, you have to drill a huge number of wells. That's where these people are sitting in Jantar Mantar. because the land will be good for nothing after that. Gas taken out, gone. Gas taken out, gone. Gas taken out, gone. Environmental consequences later on. This is what we call as coal bed methane. Listen here. In Tanjavur, when Jayalalitha was chief minister, she suspended drilling. But obviously, the current political situation in the state is highly volatile. Obviously, that's you people know far better than me. That is coal bed methane. What is the status? Commercial production, yes or no? No. There is no commercial production. Shale gas, commercial production, yes or no? No. Gas hydrate, commercial production, yes or no? No. Nowhere in the world. Nowhere in the world. Shale gas, it is taking place and how it has altered the geopolitics and all that. Okay, so gas hydrate never take the option of commercial production. Even if saying US has started, no. Japan has started, no. Even if they say China has started, no. So that's what. Okay, just one more point, like shale gas. Shale gas, just one point I will be sharing with you. Like there is first site in India has been where it has been established for exploration purpose. It is in the Cambay region. And that site for shale gas exploration has been named as Jambusar. Jambusar, it is a joint venture of ONGC and ConocoPhillips of US. Okay, that's just one trivial point I wanted to share with you. Now please take down. Hydrocarbon, exploration, licensing, policy. Hydrocarbon, exploration, licensing, policy. It has replaced the earlier policy of it has replaced the earlier policy of it has replaced the earlier policy NELP, New Exploration Licensing Policy. The distinguishing features of HELP are first, unified licensing system, that means under one license, the oil and gas exploration and production company, the oil and gas exploration and production company will have the rights, will have the permission to explore all types of hydrocarbons, whether oil and gas, whether conventional or non-conventional, It will ease the process. It will be simple. Next, second point, open acreage, acreage, acreage means area. Open acreage licensing policy, OALP, open acreage licensing policy. Its objective is to reduce the import dependence by 10% till 2022, and to do so, domestic production of oil and gas must be doubled from 80 million metric tons to 150 to 155 million metric tons. 155 million metric tons. Now continue same point. Under OALP, an oil and gas exploration company, on the basis of data put up by the Directorate General of Hydrocarbons, can approach the government for fresh oil and gas blocks, the government can allocate them only through competitive bidding. Open bidding. Next, coal bed methane, CBM. Coal bed methane is a type of unconventional gas. It is a type of unconventional gas. It is adsorbed. On the surface of coal rocks because of high pressure The method used for extracting coal bed methane, is dewatering. Through the drills Water is taken out. Water is taken out. That reduces the pressure. That reduces the pressure to cause the release of methane. To cause the release of methane. The problem with CBM is that the production declines very quickly. Therefore, large number of drills have to be made. And for that, the area required is also more. Full stop. Next, you can write here chemical weapons. Chemical weapons. Okay, sarin has been used in Syria. This is not the first time that there have been this type of chemical weapons being used in Syria. Okay, shall we continue? Today people are looking a bit tired. Okay. See, actually the thing is why I'm dictating. Let me share this thing. There's one problem with me. I always rely on my stuff. I never get the confidence on the stuff supplied by someone else because I'm feeling that lack of confidence. And at times people get too factual. And our exam, like facts agar dene hai to main aapko material de deta, 3 liners aap pad lete. So obviously here my purpose, that's why I'm dictating a bit and very precisely. Somewhere might have exceeded 15-20 words, but then we have to do it. So fine, next part which I am starting is chemical weapons. So please listen. Chemical weapons, what are the classes of chemical weapons? Which law has been passed by India to obviously to not for producing? Nobody can pass laws for that. That is for stopping. That is Weapons of Mass Destruction Act. Which year it was passed? 2005. That we'll see later on. Chemical weapons, actually, there are broadly 3 categories. First, all of you have read in newspaper recently, nerve agents. Next is blistering agents. Third one is blood agents. All 3 are there. Most powerful, no marks for guessing, nerve agents. Example of nerve agents, VX, most powerful among all. Sarin. Sarin and VX, no comparison. VX is 100 times more powerful than sarin. Obviously, there are other names, Samoon, Taboon, they will not be asking for it, like it's worst case scenario. They have asked question in the past as well about other things related. So how they work actually? Basically, yes, this he should ask. Nerve agents work by disrupting the transmission of nerve impulse. What is nerve impulse? The communication between neurons. That is nothing but the electrical wave. And how the nerve impulse transmission takes place? Actually, the connection, obviously there is no direct connection, there is always a gap between neurons like this, is known as synapse. At this site, which you can see the gap between my 2 hands, that is known as synaptic cleft, C-L-E-F-T. In synaptic cleft, some chemicals are released. One of them is obviously is very, very popular. That is obviously acetylcholine. And generally we call them as neurotransmitter. neurotransmitter. So they induce the change in the next neuron, then obviously in the next neuron. So what actually nerve agents do? They cause the accumulation of acetylcholine, means they block the process of the changes being induced by acetylcholine in the next neuron. So it is very much like suddenly you can say that all the traffic lights have become green. Red will not be a problem. Green will be a problem. Red, all the people will stop. Green, obviously, all of them will be started moving. So that is what we call as nerve agents. Okay, and this is not the first time. The first example of the use of nerve agent is from Japan. There was a doomsday cult, and they used this VX in a tube. Tube means their metro and all that. And obviously, around 30 plus people were killed in that particular attack. Obviously, later on, what happened to them, that's a different story. Sarin, obviously, and this thing, obviously, you will say, sir, but then we saw those pictures. I was not able to watch those pictures, not even in newspapers. We saw people huffing and puffing. Actually, simple. It's a simple case. Nerves control each and everything, voluntary as well as involuntary. Involuntary means the heart, the lungs, kidneys, intestine, everything. And obviously, voluntary, if there is a paralysis, no problem, sometime. But involuntary, if there is a paralysis, just imagine the lungs getting paralyzed. That's it. That's it. So these are nerve agents. I hope it's okay. Now, obviously, this is not our mandate right now, that who actually has used it. The fact is they have been used. That nobody can deny. Okay. The situation is very complicated over there. Being a student of that subject, all of us know that. Blistering agent. Blistering agent here, they use something known as mustard gas. You might, organic chemistry, mustard gas reaction. Nitrogen mustard, sulfur mustard. These are, what they do, blister actually, they penetrate through the skin. And or they are inhaled also. Obviously, it is being used, it has to be used in the form of a gas, mustard gas and all that. So inhalation and coming in contact, these are the only two routes. Okay, and what they do, eventually, they lead to the failure of the respiratory system. Blister, don't confuse with the word of the formation of blisters. Okay, there is one chemical, again, I might have told to you in previous classes somewhere, that there is a chemical known as Agent Orange. If they give Agent Orange as a blistering agent, my request to you, pleading, you will not include it. You will not accept it. Okay, why? Because Agent Orange is basically a defoliating agent. And when it was used, Vietnam War. What was going on in Vietnam War? Those people were carrying out guerrilla attacks. Those means Vietnamese people. Against whom? You know the answer. American forces. So what happened when they got frustrated? They used this Agent Orange, sprayed it over the forest, because you can see the Mekong region and all that rainforests are there. That led to the shedding of the leaves. But what happened to the human beings? Obviously, it worked like a blistering agent, but technically it is not a blistering agent. If you will find the option, it is a defoliating agent. Defoliating means causing the shedding of the leaves. Just last one, blood agent. Blood agent, one very famous example, at least in movies we have seen. 70s movies they used to show in Hindi. Cyanide. The moment someone approaches them, they will put a tablet on their tongue. That's it. Okay, cyanide. That is blood agent. Means they dissolve the blood in the blood. And what they do actually, listen here, blood agents, they impair the ability of the blood cells to carry and transport the oxygen. Obviously, RBCs will be carrying the oxygen. So obviously, when they are being used, this is how they work. And obviously, suffocation will lead to the death of the patient. These are the three classes of what we call as chemical weapons. There is a chemical weapon convention. Last year, there was a question on that. This year, probably they will be asking on these agents. Okay, that's one point. Another point is waste to energy. It has been in news like India's largest, why I am discussing this, India's largest waste to energy plant has been established in Narela Bhavana region of Delhi. Okay, and it is also in news because of that petition filed by the residents of Sukhdev Vihar, which is nearby the place I live. And in NGT, and you will be surprised, not only in NGT, they have approached UNFCCC Secretariat also. Okay. Obviously, that is because that Okhla waste to energy plant has got the carbon credits. Okay, so what exactly is this? Now, what type of question I will be looking for? Like, is it a part of Swachh Bharat mission? Yes or no? And then if it is, then how many projects have been sanctioned? What are the challenges over here? What is its interlinkage with the other programs of the country? How come they got the carbon credits? What are the problems with it? These are 4 or 5 areas, 5 to 10 minutes I will be spending time on it. I hope you won't mind it. The thing is, when we see the question paper, and we want every question that we should be able to attempt. But this is where you need to spend time. Like Swachh Bharat mission, yes, it has included waste to energy. There are 6 missions. Their combined capacity is 74 megawatt. That's the problem with waste to energy. You will never find a waste to energy plant with 2000 megawatt capacity, 500 megawatt capacity. You know, the biggest one, which is Narela Bhavana in the country, its capacity is just 24 megawatt. And at the peak of summer, what is the requirement of electricity in Delhi? Once it reached 5000 megawatt. So obviously that's not the purpose. Then obviously Okhla you are having. Then one in Ghazipur on the border of Delhi and Ghaziabad. That obviously these are the 3 which are working. One more reason why they are going to ask the question. Recently, municipal solid waste rules have also included this waste to energy thing. So in Swachh Bharat mission, they use the term that is known as waste to health. So it is being linked to that also. Reason simple, this waste most of the time end up being in a water body. And once it is in a water body, you know the outcome, that is going to be severe pollution. So then again, what exactly is happening in these plants? They use various approaches for converting waste to energy. The most common approach for waste to energy is known as thermal, or this is what we call as incineration. The maximum number of waste to energy plants are based on this. They take the waste and burn it. And obviously same is the case with Okhla waste to energy plant. In Okhla waste to energy plant, what they were doing actually, what's the problem? The problem is not with the concept. The problem is the way they are doing the things. As per the law, there are 2 things. There should be no waste to energy plant within 6 kilometers of a residential area. In this case, the boundary of that waste to energy plant is common with the boundary of a residential colony. That's second. And it is just 1.7 kilometers from Okhla bird sanctuary as well. So obviously that is the problem over here. But then in this case, they simply take the waste, burn it, and the problem is the emission of the greenhouse gases. Second one is thermochemical. Listen here. Thermochemical, this organic waste is taken like plastic and all. It is being heated either in the absence of oxygen or in the partial presence of oxygen. And that results in the formation of syngas or producer gas. If it is an absence of oxygen, that is syngas, that is carbon monoxide plus hydrogen. And if it is partial presence of oxygen, that results in carbon monoxide plus nitrogen. That is what we call as producer gas. Both of them obviously for use for rotating the turbine. Last is biochemical. Biochemical is based on the process of biomethanation. And one more approach here is electrochemical. In electrochemical, they use microbial fuel cell. In microbial fuel cell, I will not waste much of your time. Waste is being broken down by anaerobic bacteria to produce electricity and water. These are the 4 approaches you are having. What are the policy initiatives which have been taken? Who decides the tariffs for the waste to energy? Central Electricity Regulatory Commission. Under which law? Central Electricity Regulatory Commission, Electricity Act 2003. Whether any recent policy, new power tariff policy of 2016, it has mandated that DISCOMs have to buy all the electricity produced from the waste. And it has also mandated that if there is a sewage treatment plant within 50-kilometer radius of a thermal plant, they have to use that waste to produce the electricity. And recently, Municipal Solid Waste Rules 2016, they have also mandated that if there is an industry using a fuel and within a radius of around 15 to 20 kilometers of that industry, there is something like Ghazipur. What Ghazipur is doing, they are not making electricity, they are using waste to make fuel. So then 5% of the total fuel has to be RDF, refused derived fuel. So these are some of the points you can remember. In most of the cases, obviously, they will be asking question on the processes which are involved. Please take down where I was. Chemical weapons. Chemical weapons. Chemical weapons are of following types. Chemical weapons are of following types. Nerve agents. Example. Nerve agents. Example. VX. VX means venom. VX. It is the most powerful nerve agent. It is the most powerful nerve agent. Second, sarin, S-A-R-I-N, sarin. Samoon, samoon, S-A-M-U-N, samoon. And taboon, T-A-B-U-N, taboon. They are classified in following groups. They are classified, where I was? Nerve agents, no? Sorry, just, no, the concentration lapse. Don't write they are classified. Nerve agents, nerve agent works by disrupting the process of nerve impulse transmission. Just remember these three words: nerve impulse transmission, by blocking a neurotransmitter, acetylcholine. Acetylcholine, neurotransmitter, acetylcholine. Full stop. This is enough. Blistering agents. Blistering agents. Blistering agents, example, sulfur mustard, nitrogen mustard, that is mustard gas, huh? Sulfur mustard, nitrogen mustard, lewisite, Lewis, L-E-W-I-S-I-T-E, lewisite. They enter the body through inhalation. They enter the body through inhalation and skin contact, causing blindness and damage to the respiratory system, Next, blood agents. Blood agents, example, hydrogen cyanide. These chemicals impair the ability of blood cells to carry and transport oxygen, and transport oxygen, eventually causing suffocation. Eventually causing suffocation. Full stop. Choking and suffocation, same. Yes. Now, right? Waste to energy. Waste to energy. Waste to energy is a part of waste to energy. Point form I will be dictating, 5, 6 only. Waste to energy is a part of Swachh Bharat mission. Swachh Bharat mission. Under SBM, 6 waste to energy projects. 6 waste to energy projects have been sanctioned with a combined capacity of 64 megawatt. 64 megawatt. Full stop. Recently, next point, take it in point form. Recently, India's biggest waste to energy plant was started in the Narela Bhavana region, in the Narela Bhavana. It's a part of Delhi. Narela Bhavana region. Its capacity is 24 megawatt. Its capacity is 24 megawatt. It is a public-private project. It is a public-private project involving Ramky Group from Hyderabad. Ramky, R-A-M-K-Y. So public-private. Ramky Group of Hyderabad, and the other being the municipal body, NDMC. Okay, Ramky Group of Hyderabad. Next paragraph. The other waste to energy plants in the national capital are the other waste to energy plants in the national capital region are Okhla Timarpur, it is one. Okhla Timarpur, O-K-H-L-A, Okhla Timarpur, with a capacity of 16 megawatt. Capacity of 16 megawatt. And Ghazipur, obviously nearby Delhi, Ghazipur, with a capacity of 12 megawatt. With a capacity of 12 megawatt. Continue further. Capacity of 12 megawatt. Continue. The Okhla waste to energy plant, has received carbon credits from whom? UNFCCC has received carbon credits from UNFCCC. Full stop. Continue further. As far as the rules are concerned, such plants must be at least 6 kilometers from the residential areas. 6 kilometers from the residential areas. and they must be integral. This is very important point. They must be integral to a landfill site. They must be integral to a landfill site. Next point. The National Power Tariff Policy 2016, the National Power Tariff Policy 2016 has mandated that the waste should be used by thermal plants and DISCOMs has to buy it, and DISCOMs means distribution companies have to buy it. 16. Okay, continue. Just last point. The Central Electricity Regulatory Commission, the Central Electricity Regulatory Commission, established through Electricity Act 2003, Electricity Act 2003, will determine the tariffs, full stop. There are four methods for obtaining energy from waste. First, thermal or incineration. It is the most common method. The problem is emission of greenhouse gases. Next, thermochemical or gasification. It has two approaches. A, thermochemical treatment in the absence of oxygen. Resulting in the formation of syngas, SYN. Syngas is carbon monoxide plus hydrogen. Syngas, carbon monoxide plus hydrogen. B, partial presence of oxygen. Form producer gas. Partial presence of oxygen form producer gas. Carbon monoxide plus nitrogen. Both are used for electricity generation. Third, biochemical or biomethanation. methanation, methanation, in anaerobic conditions, the microbes breaks down biodegradable organic waste, to form methane. Next, fourth, electrochemical is the use of microbial fuel cell. In these cells, the anaerobic bacteria breaks down the waste and the products are methane, water and electricity. Electricity. If they will give carbon dioxide, no, because conditions are anaerobic. Okay, I can't be more specific than this. Now next topic. Class is not over. Okay, just one point, just waste to energy. Which ministry responsible for that? Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. Okay, that's it. So now next part of our class is bioprinting, or you can say bioink also. If the question is on bioink, if the question is on bioprinting, if the question is on 3D bioprinting, the concept is the same. Okay, that is what I will be using the word bioprinting. So I have started bioprinting. What is bioprinting? It's actually 3D printing of how can we save the person affected from chemical gas immediately. See, one very simple formula which I can share from my personal experience of Bhopal gas tragedy, how we were saved. In that case, you do one thing. If the conditions are a bit chilly, take a cloth, put it in water and put it around your nose. Okay, what will happen that, and obviously for this you don't have to do any act. Every home will have a cloth. There will be water as well. The gas, the moment it will come in contact with wet, cold piece of cloth, it will convert it into liquid. And obviously, we won't be inhaling it. That's how, obviously, this is the easiest formula of doing it. And this is how, similarly, nuclear radiation also. The first thing, obviously, say for example, you are a DM in Tirunelveli Valley, Tamil Nadu, where these reactors are. The first thing needs to be done. The clothes of that person should be immediately removed. And obviously put as much water on the body of that person as possible. Obviously not as possible, means a sufficient quantity of water so that these things should be rinsed down. Okay. Obviously, even in chemical and nuclear will always be more harmful than the chemical. But the thing is, in chemical, it will be immediate poisoning effect. Whereas in case of nuclear, it will be damage to the cells and tissues, and those damages will be having, obviously they will be evident after some time. So this is how biological weapon, obviously nothing could be done. Nothing could be done because they are simply causing the infection. Fine. I hope Srinagar, you got the answer. Okay. So,
This VX, are they going to just affect only this acetylcholinergic neuron? Because I think I read somewhere that
what's the question?
VX, are they going to affect only this cholinergic neuron? Because,
Mostly, rather I will say all, almost all the time. Okay, that's the case. Now, shall we? Good. Bioprinting. See, bioprinting recently, like there was a person had burn injuries. So what they did, they created an artificial medium, and that artificial medium, obviously, one part of that was taken from seaweed, that was a natural polymer, and the other was artificial polymer. These things were performing two jobs. The artificial one was providing the support, base, foundation, scaffold. Scaffold means holding the things in their place. Like these things are scaffolds, holding it in the air so that the roof is not falling down. And that the natural one was providing the cell with the nutrients. Okay, how it is 3D printing? What is 3D printing? In 3D printing, obviously, which is also known as additive manufacturing, what they do actually, they had a design, okay, on a computer, and obviously as per that design they manufacture that object. Okay, that is simple 3D printing. Like, say for example, I want a remote which should be triangular. Then what I should do, I should have a design of that remote. There will be a printer, not HP 1020, will be something else, and that will be having a special type of material, and then you can start Control P, and layer by layer the material will come out. That is how 3D printing is done. But here, don't imagine, for God's sake, that from printer the tissues are coming out. We have not reached that level of science as of now. In that case, the printer, just listen, the printer will release these polymers, and within these polymers there will be natural cells which were embedded, and these cells will not be created in the lab. These cells will be taken from the person, and these cells we call as stem cells. Stem cells, all of you know, they are unspecialized cells capable of forming all the cells of the body. That's what we call as pluripotent cells. Pluripotent means capability to form all types of cells of the body. So what is embedded in that? In that they have embedded those stem cells, and these stem cells will then form the required cell. Later on, obviously, once a layer is there, like just imagine a layer of stem cell. This is scaffolding. Okay, then obviously a layer of natural polymer providing nutrients, then a layer of stem cells, then obviously these stem cells forming the particular cell you want. After that they will disappear. Then another layer of those polymers and all, followed by another layer of stem cells, all the stem cells looking to form a particular tissue you want. Later on, that artificial polymer will be removed. Okay, the natural polymer will be exhausted because it has provided the energy. It is very much like carbohydrates, glucose used by our body and gone. And obviously, once you remove that scaffolding part, you have got a particular tissue with you, and that is what we call as bioprinting. Is this clear? Bioprinting, obviously, this is bio 3D printing, and that material, I will repeat it, that material has been named as bio ink. Okay, so bio ink was in use, but what's the purpose of bio ink? The bio ink purpose is to carry out bio 3D printing. Where it has been used, I will give you specific uses of 3D printing as well in medical sciences in case they ask. Obviously, first, there was a person with burn injuries, obviously severe burn injuries. So obviously in most of the cases they go for plastic surgery and all that. But it has its own limitations most of the time. So what they did, they took the stem cells from the body of that patient, and that they made a layer of skin cells, and then obviously they pasted it on the face or where the injury was. That is it. And other case, they have made a layer of kidney cells by using it. only layer, not entire kidney. The aspiration is to have entire kidney. Because the problem with cloning is that obviously there are so many ethical issues which are involved over there. Okay. And obviously recently they came up, we have this thing, trachea. In trachea, there are multiple rings. Yes, all the people are having it. So they have been able, in successful, one ring of this trachea by this particular process. That's why it was in years. So bioink, again, just be relaxed. Two parts. Natural polymer taken from seaweed. What its role? Nutrient. Natural, no? Artificial, obviously, that is sacrificial. Sacrificial means after some time we will throw it. That's the sacrificial, isn't it? It is just providing that scaffolding. Scaffolding means that mechanical support. Because it's not growing in natural environment, you're doing it in the lab. Fine. So then in that layer, there was a type of cell which were embedded, and that cell we call as what? Stem cells. So bioink will use only what? Stem cells. What is the property of stem cells? Unspecialized cells capable of forming all the cells of the body. Then what this pattern will be followed again, those polymers again embedded with stem cells. What will happen when these will be forming the layer of cells? You would like them to connect with each other. Then only three-dimensional tissue you will be having, isn't it? For that you need to remove those which are in between, and that is what the scaffolding part is removed. Natural polymer is consumed. That is what we call as bioprinting or bio 3D printing. Okay, normal 3D printing is known as additive manufacturing. Okay, is it okay? Fine. Now just listen one more. Is this where it was? Fixed dose drug combination. This was in news. 344 FDCs were banned by the government, but later on Delhi High Court has reversed that ban. So first and foremost, like under which law this ban was enforced? Antibiotic Resistance Act. There is no such law. Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1945. Okay. This law was in news for two more reasons. Give me that. First, it is like why this was banned. Like if they ask such a question, that the ban on fixed dose drug combination will help in reducing antibiotic resistance. Will you take that line or not? Yes. So obviously simple. The law has to be Drugs and Cosmetics Act. What else we have done to combat antibiotic resistance? Two more things I will just tell you. I have already discussed with some of you who were there in the class that we have amended Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1945 and we have brought antibiotic formulations in Schedule H1 category. Schedule H1 means such medicines are prescribed only on the basis of prescription. Means they are being given only on the basis of prescription. Then obviously there is a red line campaign also which is being done, but that's the overall picture. So just remember the narrative. The narrative of FDC is to counter antibiotic resistance. If we can remember this, at least this is minimum, then obviously by seeing the option, there is a possibility we can arrive at the right combination of the options. So what are FDCs? FDCs are having two or more pharmaceutical substances combined in single dosage, two or more. There are so many FDCs like Fancydyl cough syrup, Corex. Now it has been banned. You know the reason for the ban. Okay. Substance abuse by the people. And obviously there is one more, Nisip. Nisip is having nimesulide and pharmaceutical. And obviously like it, but at the same time, obviously what are the positives of this particular approach? The positives are simple. Like if a person is having multiple health complications, then obviously the doctor will not prescribe them 5-6 medicines, which is always a cumbersome thing. And the person will start feeling depressed also. I have to take so many medicines. And obviously it's very difficult to follow the schedule also. Then obviously one medicine will do the job. So it reduces the pill burden on the person. Burden not in the physical sense, in the psychological sense. Second thing, it is economic. And obviously but at the same time, obviously they come in fixed combinations. So I need nimesulide, but not paracetamol. So for example, nimesulide, I am having some pain in my body. That's the purpose of nimesulide. Nice. But it's very harmful. Never take it. Paracetamol is antipyretic. Antipyretic means reduces fever and all. But I'm not having fever. So obviously what I'll do, what will happen? I will take up the medicine which my body doesn't need at this juncture. So that's obviously, this is where, and what happened most of the time, like I have read somewhere, these medicines are very cheap. And some people are very fond of having the medicines. Like obviously it is available at lower cost. Okay, and they have this is a psychological thing actually. They need medicine, otherwise they will not feel good. So obviously, so that's where they go and buy them, and that's where the problem is. It leads to the emergence of antibiotic resistance. Okay, that's what the government was looking to counter, and obviously at the same time, adverse health effects or the side effects are also there. So under which law it was banned? Obviously, it was banned under Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1945, and under the same law, the thing was reversed by the Delhi High Court. Actually, the thing is, this law says, Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1945 says that before banning, obviously, see here, the thing is, if you are running a pharmaceutical company, it's not up to your whims and fancies that you can start selling any medicine in the market. You have to take the permission from the government. So they asked, the pharmaceutical companies asked government in the court that, sir, we were selling these medicines with your permission. Obviously, you should have evaluated it first. And while we are having the permission, we have submitted reports for the safety and the efficacy. Then only drug controller gives the permission. Without that, drug controller will never give the permission. And as per the law, you have to give a 3-month notice to the pharmaceutical company, which you have not. Obviously, on this basis, the decision was reversed by Delhi High Court. Obviously, government is not happy. Obviously, in this case, we need to be a bit sympathetic, obviously, towards the government, because obviously it's a question of public health. This is what drug FDC is. Just one more, then we will be writing about it. That is water laser and cryogenic engine. Water laser, obviously, is a small thing, means laser created by the interaction of water molecules and light. But that requires a bit of you can say time. So first you take down, then we will have. First one will be bioprinting. Bioprinting is 3D printing of 3D printing of human tissues by using bio ink. There have been many examples. Like a ring of trachea was printed. A layer of kidney cell was printed. A layer of kidney cell was printed. And a layer of skin cells were also printed. And a layer of skin cell was also printed. Full stop. In bio ink, there are two polymers. One was natural polymer extracted from, one was natural polymer extracted from seaweed. Seaweed. It was providing nutrients to the cell. Nutrients to the cell. And the other was a sacrificial polymer. It was providing mechanical support. When the layer of these materials came out from the printer, when the layer of these materials came out from the printer, it was having stem cells embedded in it. It was having stem cells embedded, E-M-B-E-D-D-E-D, embedded in it. Stem cells are unspecialized cells. Stem cells are unspecialized cells capable of forming all the specialized cells of the body. They form such cells, and later on the scaffolding material is removed. Leaving the required tissue or the layer of cells, leaving the required tissue or the layer of cells. Full stop. Bioprinting is based on bioink, comma, which is made of living cell structures, When a particular digital model is being developed, according to that, the tissues are printed layer by layer. Some of the applications are making organs, comma, bone and cartilage, comma, heart and blood vessels, comma, skin, comma, cancer research, and last but not the least, surgical tools. Full stop. What else we discussed after that? FDDC. Fixed dose drug combinations. Fixed dose drug combinations. Recently, 344 FDCs means fixed dose combinations were banned under Drugs and Cosmetics Act, under Drugs and Cosmetics Act, the fundamental idea was to combat the emergence of antimicrobial resistance. FDCs are when two or more drugs are combined in a single dosage. Example: nimesulide and paracetamol. Nimesulide and paracetamol. Next, there are advantages of FDCs. Like simple schedule, comma, improved patient compliance, easy for those suffering from multiple disorders, Next, economic. The disadvantages are side effects, because the person may not require all the drugs in that dosage, Second, the emergence of antimicrobial resistance, antimicrobial resistance. Full stop. The Delhi High Court reversed the ban on the ground that as per the Drugs and Cosmetics Act, 1945, a 3-month notice has to be given to the pharma company. Full stop. Now listen here. CE20. What is CE20? Cryogenic engine 20. What does 20 stands for? Not mass. The thrust of this engine is 20 tons. Like, see, listen here, please, come on. This is where I think I can make a bit of a difference in the understanding. We have 3 versions of GSLV. GSLV MK1, MK2, okay, and MK3. What is the difference? Okay, in this case, the first one, we used Russian cryogenic engine and they were named as KD1. Okay, payload was 2.5 ton. Second case, we use our own cryogenic engine with the name CE7.5. CE7.5 means that the thrust is 7.5 ton. Means the combined weight of the satellite and the vehicle cannot or should not be more than 7.5 ton. Okay, somewhere you will find kilonewton. Kilonewton, obviously, that will be multiplied by 10 further. Okay, that's what we were using. Same thing here, 2.5 ton. CE20, which is obviously being used for what we call say GSLV MK3. GSLV MK3, actually the CE, listen here, you will be a bit confused in that material we have given to you, and it's not incorrect over there. CE20 is a part of the cryogenic stage, and that cryogenic stage, it is a part, it is not cryogenic, it is a cryogenic engine is a part of third stage, that is C25. C25 means the combined thrust of that stage will be 25 ton. Out of that, 20 ton will be coming from that cryogenic engine. This is what I hope now this is where some of you who have read that material might be having a bit of a confusion. These people have given us wrong information. That's not wrong actually. And in this case, obviously the payload will be in the range 4.5 to 5 ton. Recently, obviously, ISRO has tested, and you know what? This is being described as world's most powerful cryogenic engine. Okay, that's the USP of this particular. Which one? The third one. And actually, this is something which has been repeated. The first time ISRO tested GSLV MK3, that was done in the form of suborbital flight. Suborbital means below orbit. In that case, actually, and you know what, I have told you, some of you, that this thing is also known as LVM3. Only this one is known as LVM3. LVM3 means Launch Vehicle Mark 3. Okay, this one is used only for GSLV MK3. So in case examiner is not giving GSLV MK3, they are giving LVM3. Nothing is changing. Nothing is changing. It will be absolutely same. Okay, now listen here. What was suborbital flight? That was also named as CARE. Actually, in that case, say for example, worst case, they asked this question. In that suborbital flight, the ISRO used passive cryogenic stage. Passive cryogenic stage means they were looking to test the other parameters of that vehicle without testing the cryogenic engine. That went as per the copybook, you know, perfect. That was the case. And this time, obviously, now they are looking to have the actual GSLV Mk3, and obviously GSLV Mk3, you know, it will be used almost everywhere. Human space flight, obviously RLV, reusable launch vehicle. It will be used, obviously, that cryogenic part. It will be used for Chandrayaan. It will be used for Mangalayaan. Everywhere you will be find GSLV Mk3. So because of this, many projects of ISRO are being hold up. So all of them are going to means moving forward once this is being done. I hope it's okay. So this is what you need to remember. Otherwise, there's no possibility of any question over here. So this is what it will be. First was suborbital, next time orbital, and that one just in worst case again, sorry. Worst case they asked, this is CARE. CARE means what? Crew Module Atmospheric Re-entry. Crew Module Atmospheric Re-entry means GSLV Mk3, which was passive, carried a capsule which Hindustan Aeronautics Limited has designed for the manned space mission. It reached a height of 125 km, followed a parabolic path and come back. That is Crew Module Atmospheric Re-entry. Okay, so that's what again, I'm just like, what if they ask GSLV Mk3 significance, and if they give human space flight, you have to take it. If they give Chandrayaan 2, you have to take it. If they give Mangalayaan 2, you have to take it. Whether you like it or not, that's not the question over. You have to choose that particular combination. I hope it's fine. Now please take down. Cryogenic engine. Cryogenic engine CE 20. CE 20. Cryogenics are the most critical component. Cryogenic is the most critical component of GSLV. GSLV. There are three variants of GSLV. There are three variants of GSLV. First, GSLV Mk1. Mk1. It used Russian cryogenic engines. Russian cryogenic engines named as KVD1. KVD1. The payload capacity 2.5 ton. KVD. Payload capacity 2.5 ton. GSLV Mk2. It used cryogenic upper stage. Cryogenic upper stage. CUS. This also you will read in your notes. Cryogenic upper stage. With a cryogenic engine. CE 7.5. CE 7.5. C, you know, cryogenic, E for engine. 7.5 means 7.5 ton thrust. 7.5 ton thrust. Okay, its payload, okay, stationary. Its payload capacity is how much? 2.5 ton. GSLV Mk3. GSLV Mk3. It has used C25 as the cryogenic stage. Stage is one thing, engine is another thing. Cryogenic stage having CE20 as the engine. CE20 as the engine. That means the thrust will be 20 ton. The thrust will be 20 ton, or in worst case scenario, or 200 kilonewton, or 200 kilonewton. Okay, 200 kilonewton. It is probably the world's most powerful. It is probably world's most powerful cryogenic engine. It is probably world's most powerful cryogenic engine. The payload capacity of GSLV Mk3, the payload capacity of GSLV Mk3 will be in the range 4.5 to 5 ton. Will be in the range 4.5 to 5 ton. It is also known as LVM3. LVM3 launch vehicle. LVM3 launch vehicle Mark III. Launch vehicle Mark III. In 2014, ISRO carried out suborbital flight test of LVM3, but the cryogenic stage was passive. Full stop. The experiment was named as CARE. The experiment was named as CARE. The experiment was named as CARE. GSLV Mk3 will be used for human space flight. Launching GSAT-9. What is GSAT-9? Come on. GSAT-9 was SARC satellite, which did not materialize. And now obviously we are going to name is what? South Asian satellite. Southeast Asian satellite. So that is GSAT-9. Okay. So obviously what is our reason for not having SARC satellite? GSLV Mk3 is not ready. Okay. That's it. GSAT-9, SARC satellite, now it will be Southeast Asian satellite. Okay, fine. Now, listen, after this, like see here. Last year they asked a question on Astra Dharini. I wish this year they should ask Varun Astra. Because now we are prepared with it, And obviously they should not ask what is Astra Dharini. They should also give the warships where it is going to be used. What exactly Varunastra is. Okay, so actually Astra you can imagine. Astra. Okay. Because actually why this is? Because this is considered as one of the top 10 outcomes of DRDO in the previous year, that is 2016. One was Sonar Dome, other was UAV-2 Rustam, and third one, this thing. So they may ask at least one from this, may ask. Okay, Varun asked first and foremost, remember if they asked like last year question, just search one word, torpedo. Okay, torpedo is what? Self-propelled weapon. Obviously, which could be fired above the surface of water and that could be fired below the surface of the water. And so that indigenous torpedo developed has been named as Varunastra. Is this clear? Okay, just one more point I will add, be very brief. This is going to be used in two classes of our warships. One is INS Rajput, you know, we name them like this. And the other is where you are right now, INS Delhi. Okay, that's it. Your job is done. Now listen here. We have also tested our UAV, Rustam 2. Rustam 2. Rustam 2, what type of UAV it is? Combat or surveillance? Surveillance. Very good. Happy. Which category you will place it? Male or hail? Male. Medium altitude, long endurance. Very good. Medium altitude, long endurance. What is the meaning? Height. Height is somewhere 10,000 to 30,000 feet, not kilometer. That is 10,000 to 30,000 feet. And what is the meaning of long endurance? It can sustain itself for multiple days in air. And this is our best class of UAVs. Obviously, very soon you might see that in Chhattisgarh what has happened day before yesterday. Obviously, you might find the use of such UAVs. That is surveillance. It has already been done. It has already been done in anti-Naxal operations because it is for not firing missiles. It is not going to fire the missile. But rather, one more point. If today we are having any UAV which could be converted into combat mode, this is the one which could. And how it works actually, Rustam work by using simple remote sensing technology, which I have discussed with you in the previous classes, known as SAR, Synthetic Aperture Radar. Synthetic Aperture Radar, 3 ways. Listen here. Remote sensing satellite, that is RESAT 1 and 2. NISAR, NASA ISRO Synthetic Aperture Radar. And the last one being UAVs. Okay, first two you just forget about it. SAR you need to focus. That is one part. Then obviously one more thing is there. Indigenously developed the Sonar Dome. Okay, Sonar Dome. They have not given any name. So that's where I don't think they will be having enough substance to ask the question. Sonar Dome, obviously that is used for what? It is used for anti-submarine warfare. That is the USP of that. Okay, and obviously it is the eyes and the ears of the warship, so they will be scanning it and obviously targeting. These two are, I think, comparatively more important in terms of facts, in terms of information over there. Okay, just listen, continue one thing. Recently, there was news like China has discovered a region in Tibet as Dark Sky Reserve. Okay, what is the name of that region? Nagari. Not how, obviously, spelling. This is in Tibet region. Why it has been? Obviously, it is to avoid light pollution. Light pollution, tourism, obviously they will be promoting. But at the most important point is like where we will read. We have read, or either you might have read at least, that Hawaii in US, obviously that is island part, that is regarded as the monarchy in Hawaii is regarded as the best location to have the telescopes. Because there are obviously cloudless skies and the night is obviously very, very clear over there. So obviously when you're looking it for astronomy purpose, when you're looking to peek into the galaxies and these distant stars, you don't want clouds to be there. So Nagari, or whatever is the pronunciation you are going to have, which is a part of Tibet, has been declared as dark sky reserve, that is to avoid pollution, and it is having obviously those type of conditions like cloudless skies and oil and all. Therefore, it is a favorable spot to carry out deep space studies by using the telescopes. Okay, that's why in our country as well, if any place we have to declare as a dark sky, that has to be Ladakh. That's why you will find those telescopes and all that thing are coming up in Ladakh. It's not for a strategic reason, it is for the technical reason, because those telescopes you won't be using for geopolitical purposes. Now, what is the next step Chinese government has taken? The next step Chinese government has taken, they have applied for its inclusion in an informal organization known as International Dark Sky Association. As of now, it has not been accepted as the member by International Dark Sky Association. This is the point you need to remember. So this is dark sky reserve. It is not something strategic or defense. It is simple astronomy related. Where? Tibet. Okay, fine. So now you just take down these 2-3 points. Where I was? Varunastra. Varunastra is indigenously developed. Varunastra is indigenously developed torpedo, also known as underwater missile. It was developed by Naval Science and Technology Laboratory, Naval Science and Technology Laboratory, in partnership with Bharat Dynamics Limited. Bharat Dynamics Limited. Bharat Dynamics Limited. The 95% of the components are domestically manufactured. The Rajput and Delhi class, of warships can be equipped with the new torpedo, along with them, anti-submarine warfare capable warships, anti-submarine warfare capable ships will also have the capability, The torpedo is capable of taking down stealth submarines, in shallow or deep waters, Now, right, Rustam 2 UAV, Rustam, spelling O will be here. Rustam 2 UAV. DRDO has successfully carried out the maiden flight the maiden, M-A-I-D-A-N, maiden flight of Rustam UAV. It is combat capable. It is combat capable, but not used for that purpose. It is combat capable. But it is used for electronic intelligence, situational awareness, electronic intelligence, situational awareness. It is a medium altitude. It is a medium altitude, long endurance UAV. It is a medium altitude, long endurance UAV, full stop. All right. Indigenous sonar dome. Indigenous sonar dome. It is the first indigenous composite sonar dome. It is the first indigenous composite sonar dome. It will be attached. It will be attached at the bottom of ships. It will be attached at the bottom of the ships to scan the seas, 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 for submarine threats. Scan the seas for submarine threats. All right. Dark Sky Reserve, China. Dark Sky Reserve, China. Composite means mixture. Okay. China has identified Nagari, N-G-A-R-I, Nagari, with an area of 2,500 square kilometer, with an area of 2,500 square kilometer. What was the line? Okay. As the Dark Sky Reserve, the purpose is to limit light pollution, by stepping up protection of dark sky resources full stop. It will be used for astronomical observation, due to its high altitude, astronomical observation due to its high altitude, and large number of cloudless days. Days means nights as well here. Days in the year. because of the same reason, because of the same reason, Mauna Kea, Mauna, M-A-U-N-A, Mauna Kea in the Hawaii region, is also a preferred destination, for setting up telescopes, for astronomical studies, Full stop. This is where we stop today. Tomorrow, environment, and after that, IR. Yes.
So what is light pollution?
What is light? Light means excessive presence of light. Okay. And all that is light pollution, therefore. Not light pollution. It is light. Huh? Harmful impact in the sense your telescopes and all will not be able to work properly. So obviously, if you're using them at night, obviously the more is the gradient, better those telescopes will work. So they will be limiting these big glossy places and all that over there. They will be maintaining it in the same pristine condition as it is. Okay.